Finally, we're getting some more Dragon Ball Xenoverse free information this month. I know a lot of people forgot because the Xenoverse 2 DLC came out and the Sparking Zero expansion came out, but Xenoverse free information is coming back this month. And I think this time around, they're actually going to show us new custom races gameplay, such as with, margins and freezers, new transformations for all of those races, etc. We're going to be seeing at least something about a demo or a beta, because the other Xenoverse games had a demo and a beta. In fact, even Dragon Ball The Breakers had a beta, had multiple betas in fact. So thank God. New original character stuff as well as gameplay improvements. I do want to remind you guys, we have not seen any original character gameplay so far. We've only seen soul change gameplay for original characters, but not the actual original characters themselves, which has made a lot of people believe they're not in the game, but this confirms they are in the game. Oh yes, and I forgot to say hello everyone, it's me again, Steve OJ here, back some more Dragon Ball Xenoverse free. We're also going to be getting gameplay improvements on Xenoverse free, which is a thing everyone has asked for. Even the people who are glazing Xenoverse free are asking for gameplay improvements, and the people who absolutely hate the way it looks right now, they should be super happy about gameplay improvements. Now, I don't think they're going to change the heads-up display or anything anytime soon, because that would be a lot to change in such short time. I think they are going to focus generally on the core actual gameplay, stamina, ki, super attacks, combos, etc. They're going to focus on those for gameplay improvements. We'll see a heads-up display change later, and I'll explain why, because Sparking Zero also took ages to change some of its stuff when people were unsatisfied with the original gameplay showcase. And yes, the game does have a heavier focus on custom characters this time around rather than cast characters, but I do believe that the next time we'll actually see gameplay of the Xenoverse free, it will be going over the cast characters. We got a chunky amount of custom character gameplay with all the demo showcases, the V Jump Scan, we got people going to conventions to play the game early, we got loads and loads of custom character stuff with that. And again, the soul change feature is done in a way where it makes people believe, oh, I guess original characters won't be playable in this game, otherwise why would soul change be a thing? But I don't think that's true, because again, when you soul change, you can't go Super Saiyan after you soul change, meaning that feature is unique to the character themselves when they actually are playable, which is cool, unless they do a Dragon Ball The Breakers, where you can choose which form you go into the character with, but you can't actually transform after that. Like if I choose to transform into base Trunks, I can't go Super Saiyan, and if I choose to transform into Super Trunks, I can't go back to base. A good example, I can transform into SSJ2 Goku Soul Change, but that doesn't mean I can go back to base SSJ1 or SSJ3. It might be exactly like that with the way Dragon Ball The Breakers did that system, and that would be pretty disappointing, but I don't think it's going to be the case. I think the next gameplay we will see will be the original characters, because I do remember when Xenoverse 2 was coming out, the first thing we saw was obviously, loads of custom character gameplay and barely any original character gameplay. But then we started seeing, people do matches with each other, like real PvP matches with each other in these cons, and I think that was an excellent time. That was delicious. I do think after that, that's when we started getting beta gameplay for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, because it was like a few months after the demo convention that everyone fought each other at. And again, I hope the beta isn't restricted, because I remember Xenoverse 2's beta was restricted. I don't think it was available in the UK and a few other regions. It was like literally only like America and Japan, which was really unfortunate, because Xenoverse 2 was like super duper hype when it was coming out. So I hope they don't do the same with Xenoverse 3. Sparking Zero, I think, is the only recent Dragon Ball game to not have a demo or a beta, which is crazy. I don't think it even still has a free version right now, even after Super Limit Breaking Neo's DLC has come out. And I want to remind you, even Dragon Ball The Breakers, a game that people love to meme and like crap on, had like a demo and a beta. Genshin Squadron, demo and a beta. Even the single player game, DBZ Kakarot, of no multiplayer features, has a demo. But Sparking Zero, I think, is just a massive outlier. So Xenoverse 3 obviously will have a demo at some point. If not a demo, then a beta like with Xenoverse 2, where there's a small window that you can hop online and just, try out some characters, try out some, OC customization, and just go straight to beating each other up, Now, I do think the next time they show obviously anything for this, it's not going to be like a massively different thing. Like if the heads-up display is different, if any of the other systems that they showed in the previous demo gameplays is improved, that would be excellent. But I think it's a pretty short notice to get updates that big. I think for now they're going to just kind of expand by showing us more roster characters, more custom characters, more available options of super attacks, etc. Because a lot of that stuff is actually very interesting, especially break critical attacks, how they change completely when enemies in a broken state. I think they'll focus more on that before they do big heads-up display changes, because even with Sparking Zero, again, and Sparking Zero could have not been an easy game to make at all, with its graphical fidelity and the animations and everything, right? Because at least Xenoverse 3 is borrowing animations and assets and stuff like that from Xenoverse 2 and Breakers, but Sparking Zero, it took ages for them to update the way some of the gameplay looked and some of the heads-up display when they originally showed the first ever gameplay. So with Xenoverse 3, I do think it'll still take a bit for any of that stuff to change. So I think when they do next show, which will be in V Jump this month, I don't think they'll show anything beforehand. V Jump this month, they'll obviously again show us, hey, here's some new characters, here's some new stuff with the story, here's some new original character gameplay that we've never shown before, and then we'll get a trailer after that or before that, because V Jump is usually a sign that a new trailer is about to come. So, and I should say this, the V Jump is not going to mess us around. I know the last V Jump for Xenoverse 3 was just nothing. It was literally stuff we already knew, and in fact, it was even less than stuff we already knew, because it was like, oh, here's Brett, and here's some other story stuff about how Shenron wishes you into the timeline because someone made a wish, and Shenron pulls you from where you are to... Like, yeah, I saw that in the trailer. Like, that's not even information. Like, why would you even put that in V Jump? Like, as if I wouldn't just watch the trailer and see that. Like, that doesn't do anything. There's no more nothing information they can put out, right? So the next V Jump is 100% going to be, yes, here's some extra characters, here's some extra gameplay, here's some improvements, here's more systems, etc. Because again, Xenoverse 3 is not a done game. It releases next year. I get that some people are really upset about it, and that makes sense, right? If you want something to change, let your voice be heard. But I think absolute doom posting is just not, like, it's not constructive criticism, you know? The game still takes a year to come out, so we just have to be patient, but still let your voices be heard, just in a reasonable way. If you're complaining towards someone and all you're doing is yelling at them and giving no useful advice, they're just not going to listen. So I do think of Xenoverse 3, obviously, again, we just gotta be a wee bit patient, but at the same time, let your voices be heard in a reasonable manner. So again, yeah, next V Jump, it's gonna show more stuff, more gameplay improvements, etc. Biggest thing I expect, more custom characters and more original character stuff, because again, we still haven't seen if they're gonna do Glins as a race. Dragon Ball Daima went through all of the effort to introduce new demon race factions, how all the demons, like Namekians and Margins, come from the same evolutionary line, right? So that's probably gonna change how Namekian and Margin customization is like in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, because they're related. They really are. Piccolo and Majin Buu are related. I guess they're related in the same way that like birds and dinosaurs are related, but you know what I mean. I think that should change up customization a lot, especially with the fact that we literally see a new race character like Rom working around. Like Rom is basically a Kaioshin, a Glind, a demon, however you want to see it, but that race does have one big category now. It's not like Supreme Kai of Time where she was the only unique race that we couldn't play before because Supreme Kais were exclusive to being like these holier than thou creatures. You could only play Supreme Kais in like one game, which was Super Dragon Ball Heroes, which is the game that lets you do anything pretty much, right? But now that they're, you know, more general, you know, we got more characters like Zamasu, we got you know, a Rinsu, we got Degesu, we got all of these new like Glind-like characters. It's like you can make an actual race out of that, which is what I really want to see. But again, we'll just have to wait when it comes to new race customization and stuff like that. When it comes to, obviously, again, original characters, they'll most likely finally show Goku, because I do want to remind you guys, Goku has not made an appearance in any of these trailers or any of these gameplay screenshots, except from the literal first announcement trailer before they revealed that the game was called Xenoverse 3. And even then, they don't show all of Goku. They confirm he has a new outfit, so I'm still going to call this version of Goku Xeno, because he's obviously a Goku that's unique to this timeline, or a special Goku. He's not going to just be Dragon Ball Super Goku tagging along with you guys like the Gokus from Xenoverse 1 and 2, right? He's not just DBZ Goku and DBS Goku tagging along with you. He's obviously a new Goku, the way Xeno Trunks is a new Trunks completely. So, yeah, I can't wait to see more with, obviously, Goku and the other characters, because when they show Goku, they'll probably show more stuff like Frieza, you know, all of his other iconic villains, Frieza, Cell, Buu, more DBS Broly stuff, BRS, Vegeta. Oh, man, I want to see a modern version of Vegeta. We got Scouter Vegeta, which is, like, fine, very cool, in fact, but I do want to see modern Vegeta, because if it's anything like what they showed previously, his face model will be different. Sparking Zero somehow didn't do that, but Xenoverse 3 is actually making different face models for the different eras of the character, which I think is unbelievably cool. Oh, I have not forgotten about Xenoverse 3. With all the bathing they've been giving us. They've been showering us with Xenoverse 2 stuff. They've been showering us with Sparking Zero stuff. Xenoverse 3 is still right around the corner. And by right around the corner, I mean, like, give it like 6-5 months before we finally get into the year where the game would originally actually release. Now, I don't know the exact month it's going to release. I do have an idea, but I'm not going to say it because, one, I don't want to spread false information around because people actually somewhat see me as a reliable source. Thank you so much, guys, for being really cool. And two, the game is still just has a long time, you know, to go. I'm gonna be honest, we've probably seen like less than like 5% of Xenoverse 3. And this isn't even just involving their characters. I mean just in terms of like combat, just pure gameplay only. Not talking about the roster or the stages, like even just the combat, the super attacks, the punches, the kicks, the key blast. When it comes to just beating people up, I don't think we've seen even 5% of the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if the game actually releases like late next year. And they can just stall us by giving us more DLC for Xenoverse 2. Because even though they say final DLC, Xenoverse 2 has done final DLC quote unquote before. before, I wouldn't be surprised if they do one more celebration DLC for the game's 10-year anniversary, because Xenoverse 2 is going to be 10 years very soon. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do, you know, another DLC for the 10-year anniversary, or for anything else, right? Or even if they try to stall us with like going, hey, look, a new season for Breakers is out, or hey, look, a new DLC update for Dragon Ball Fighters or Sparking Zero. That's going to stall you guys until we can get the Xenoverse 3 stuff finished. I wouldn't be surprised if they try and buy more time for the game, because Xenoverse 3, even though I think it looks really, really good, I am not against any game taking longer to release, so long as they're making it better. And I think we can all agree that that's completely fine. There's no way we want to turn on Xenoverse 3 day one, and the game keeps crashing because it's unoptimized, the gameplay's boring, so people just quit after like a week. You know, combat is insanely repetitive, the grinding is like worse than some of the really hard PQs in Xenoverse 2. Like, you know, no one wants that, so I wouldn't be surprised if they spend more time on a game to make it actually better, because famously, Sparking Zero is known as the game that released unfinished. Hell, the recent DLC just came out, and people are saying, finally, the rest of the game for an additional $30, which is crazy, because imagine spending, imagine the general consensus being spending like $90 to play a game. To play a game that released 2 years ago, basically. Like, that's crazy. You spend the 60 for Sparking Zero, then the 30 for the DLC, and that's not even adding the extra you spent to get the season pass content, which would be both the Daima chapters, the Beast, you know, Dragon Ball Superhero, and then the Shallot DLC as well, on top of all the other cosmetic stuff like music, you know, the aura effects, etc. So that's really, really crazy. I don't want the same thing to happen with Xenoverse 3. I think we can all agree we don't want the same thing to happen to Xenoverse 3, where it just gets known as the game with no content, that released way too early, blah, blah, blah. Because that's not something Xenoverse 2 has to suffer with, even with how bad the current state of Xenoverse 2 is right now. Xenoverse 2 doesn't have to suffer with a legacy of, oh, it had a horrible launch, so the game's reputation just tanked. So I would like Xenoverse 3 to be well done, and I do not mind waiting. However, I do think that is a great place to end the video, lads. We will be getting V-Jump information in the coming days. My guess is that we're going to get it in around the next 12 to 16 days at the latest, is when we'll get the next V-Jump scan. They could do it super early. I think the first time they did it for Xenoverse 3 was super early in the month as well, but we'll have to wait and see, because with these scans, a trailer usually follows suit. So yeah, without further ado, I think that's a great place to end the video, lads. Again, I do love you all. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and if you did, then please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, it greatly supports the channel, and leave a comment down below as to what you would like to see next, fellas. And that'll be it. Love you all, hope you enjoyed, take care, and peace. Bye bye.